you do?
I have a lot of problems with pretentiousness in games that take themselves super serious. Games are supposed to be fun, and when people bring in the whole, our game's art conversation, I just lose interest. I'm not here to make that argument. I just want to have fun with games. And this kind of... shit.
There's a lot of things about Soul Calibur 4 that I really want to like, but every step of the way, there's something right there standing in my face.
Video review. I have a lot of problems with pretentiousness in games. Games that take themselves really seriously, and whenever people want to have like that whole, games as art conversation, I just tune out. I'm not interested. I play games because they're fun. This is one of the reasons why I was a little skeptical of Jonathan Blow's Braid at first. This game that has a lot of indie cred, and a lot of people have been saying is going to change the way games are made, or whatever. But the bottom line is that Braid is a lot of fun. This is a really well executed game with a lot of really interesting ideas. Now the story of Braid is purposely ambiguous. It kind of tells the story of this guy Tim, who in the past had this relationship that didn't go well. It's an oddly personal story, and it's told in kind of a weird way. But it does play off the mechanics of the game really nicely. Now what the game is all about is time manipulation. You play as this guy Tim, and it kind of looks like a platformer. Actually, it kind of looks like Super Mario Brothers. But in practice, it's really a puzzle game. Tim can run and jump and do kind of basic platforming stuff, but his big ability is that he can rewind time. You press the X button, and you can go back all the way to the beginning of the level. There's no cap on his ability, it just goes. On top of that, each of the worlds of Braid introduces its own kind of unique time manipulation mechanic. Now in the very first level, it's just rewinding time. It's pretty straightforward, and it's mostly used just to kind of correct any sort of bad platforming that you do. But after that, you'll start finding objects that aren't affected by the reversal of time, so they'll stay as Tim moves through the environment. There's a ghost version of Tim that will then move forward through the game in the path that you were just on, and then after that, it gets kind of weird. Now on their own, these could just be gimmicks. You've seen plenty of games before that do time manipulation, but what really sets Braid apart is how clever it is about its implementation of these different mechanics. Each world has such a specific use of time that you have to train your brain to think about time in this way. But by the time you get to the end of that world and you've retrained your brain to work this way, you go into the next world and everything's completely different and you have to break back down again. One of the things about Braid is that it is mad frustrating. You will get to a puzzle where you think it is absolutely impossible. There's no way that you could actually pull this off. And you may bang your head against the game for an hour trying to figure out just one puzzle. But when you do solve these puzzles, and they are all possible, you feel like the smartest person in the world. Now, like I said, I was initially really skeptical about kind of the touchy-feely parts of Braid. But the way this game wraps up, it really makes it all work. The story stuff plays off of the nature of the gameplay really well, and it's just a really fantastic and unique package. I hate to say it, but this is an important game, and this is something that everyone should be playing.